Your name and spelling.
Corey Wise, CoreyWise.
I guess first of all, how are you doing? How have things been for you?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I appreciate you asking, and this is an experience I've never had before. So life has been upside down. It impacts me, my family, our daughters, my parents, and friends, and the employees, and everything else. So it's hard, but I'm also, when you're humbled, when you have the outpouring of support, it's humbling, and I think it also is validating, and you have a good support system. And I'm driven. Want to create win-wins and success, so I'm appreciative of the opportunities I've had with the Jefferson County School District and the upcoming opportunity I'll have with the Cherry Creek School District. So in those things, I think it reminds you of getting back to what's most important, and that's really trying to get back to making a difference for schools and students and education and your family. I mean, this is devastating, but at the same time, you have to go back to your core and who you are and who you want to be.
I read the complaint that was filed this morning, and I guess I'll ask you this. It seems like they were out to get you from the beginning. When did you realize that they were coming for your job?
Truly, you hear a lot of the speeches in the election and the pre-election, and you hear a lot of statements to different groups, which is interesting. I honestly was completely surprised up until the Thursday before that Friday morning meeting at the coffee shop. Had only had positive feedback. We tried to create retreats, we tried to create training, those are all canceled. We jumped right into the work and changes to mass, and we were implementing and putting things in place. And all the feedback on that work was, you're doing a great job and positive. Challenges within the board dynamics, but until they called to set up that meeting, and it was out of the context, did I even have any wonderings Then at that meeting, it was so clear in the ultimatum that's when I knew. It was a very short meeting, and they very much put it in the context of their expectations.
Looking back, is it fair to say that you think that they conspire against you to push you out?
I think when you look at everything, there's a plan. I think they're implementing a plan. I think going into that meeting when they say, we want you to resign, when do you get back? And I said, well, we get back Tuesday night. We want to know by Tuesday night to be effective Wednesday. Or the four of us decided we'll go for termination and cause, and not feeling that there's a reason for cause. So I didn't resign. And when you go to it, I don't feel there's a reason for cause. So that's the hard part is, I think unfortunately, it was predetermined. Right after that meeting, I get a text from Aaron Kane. You don't expect that. And when it's that specific of the Jefferson County Superintendent contract, and then Douglas County, my contract, that's odd. And so you start putting those pieces together, and her work of the retreats and leading up to it, and then the fact that Mike Peterson later said he called her about the position. I mean, unfortunately, I think it was predetermined, and also, retaliation of what they felt I was doing and a part of. And it's about, the work to protect those most vulnerable, ADA, and working with mass and safety with COVID, where we couldn't protect the most vulnerable. And the work with equity of their opposition towards the equity policy. And I think that's the hard part in all of it. I think it was predetermined maybe long before I realized.
You were there for a little bit, not much longer after this meeting at this coffee house, but how did you see that this plan of theirs disrupted the district?
Well, going back, as leaders of a large district, the impact you have on so many, you have to understand the responsibility of decisions. As superintendent, you look at what's your legal risk, what's going to be the impact of climate culture, what's going to be the community reaction. So I think is when you understand the magnitude of your role and position, you have to understand the responsibility that comes with it. So when you have a meeting and it's about personnel issues and terminating a superintendent, that's going to have an impact. So I think that's the disturbing part is when they meet individually, collectively as four, and trying to make a decision that's such an impact. It's disheartening because you know the impact on the system, and that's not only unfortunate for me, but it hurts students, hurts our employees, it hurts our long-term work that we need to have to be strong in one of the best school districts, and that shouldn't happen.
Do you feel, or that this will have ongoing effects? Do you think the school? I mean, do you think the school district is done with this issue just because they got rid of you, or?
I think you see the continuing ongoing effects. We've been through this before. We lost a lot of great teachers and principals and leaders, and you see people leaving now, and the worry and distrust. And over the next several years, you worry about that. When trust is broken, you want to work in an environment that you feel valued and that you have trust, and those actions match the words. And I think that's what's so disheartening in an organization, a community that I've been a part of, that I believe in. Going from student, teacher, AP, principal, 25 plus years, relationships, and surround yourself by the best, and seeing students and families come back and be a part of our county, being a part of our district, teach in our district, work in our district. It's sad. We've been through it before, but we've all said we're not going to go through it the same way. We're not going to just stand by, and hence, I think going through the process and making it public in that meeting. I'm confident in my work, confident that they don't have cause. I was doing a very good job, but not great job. I'm not there to measure, but I'm there to take feedback, but we're doing a great job in the work. So it's puzzling, and it's disturbing, and I think that's where you see the impact continuing.
That's gotta affect you in your not only mental state, but your emotional state, and that you went and you tried to do the best you could. You tried to, like you said, a district that you believe in, and tried to lead them forward, and were shown the door with no cause, with no real satisfying reason as to why you're no longer serving that district. How has that really affected you on a personal level?
Yeah. So that first Friday meeting, I've been fortunate and surrounded myself by great people, and been driven, trying to be great, so you move up. First time in your life where your job's threatened, and you walk out of there like, oh my gosh, you lose sleep, you stress, your family does, you have to share with them, you don't know what direction. Then when you're actually, as I was, terminated without cause, life is upside down. You no longer have a job, you don't have benefits, you have the responsibility of your family, plus then the personal impact, and it turns your whole life upside down, and it hurts, and you go through all the grief. I mean, you're sad, you're depressed, you're angry. I'm lucky and fortunate that I have such great support systems. Our family, our parents, extended family, friends, the employees of the system, the community, the former students across the state and even the nation, that pouring of support. It's been overwhelming and humbling. I want to show my appreciation and value. It means a world, but it's devastating, and it hurts, yeah.
What would you want the community to know? This is your first time you've spoken out since all this happened. What do you want, not only the Douglas County community, but the Colorado community to know about this situation and about where you stand?
I think the biggest thing that I truly value is I want to always be myself in this. And I'm an idealist, but when you look at who we are as a community, the extremes and the polarization and the sides, we can be better than that. We should be better than that. And these actions keep dismantling the quality and the good. So, I guess that's what I want and hope for. That's what I've wanted. And we need to be better. We sometimes let too many outside groups, agendas, sometimes politics get into what is right, and we've got to change that. So I hope that we can get away from those things and come back to making it simple and work together on that common purpose, because that's what I think the majority of people want. And even in this process, we talk about elections, who you voted for. I think they wanted certain things, but not the extreme things, and that would be my hope and my goal, and I think many others as they reach out and share those same sort of sentiments.
You kind of touched on it a little bit there, but a school district is, and a school board is, especially a school board, is a political office. You run for it through the political system, right? But also the stake is children's education, is the future of our children and what they're learning and how the decisions you make, like you talked about, affect them and affect the future. Do you feel like the education of the students who are in Douglas County right now has been affected by all this essentially distraction about the school board and who the superintendent is?
I think absolutely. Anytime teachers make the difference. And when you look at the partnership between students and families with teachers, it's critical. So when you have teachers unsure and worried, they need to be focused on what's most important. The principals are former teachers. And so great principals make the difference. And I think each employee within a school district has a critical role. We talked a lot in our district, and you look at the bus drivers. They aren't just bus drivers. They're the first connection of kids getting them to and from school safely. So it impacts everything. We want to be valued and feel valued and be part of a system. And a school district, to me, is the most important. Education is the foundation. And teachers, we can think about who made the difference in our lives. I can tell you the teachers who have made the difference and those amazing teachers that we have in Douglas County.
Anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think in all of it, when you're working hard to do what's right and do your job, and you're representing those students who are health compromised and have to stand up as a leadership piece when you cannot protect them, and then to be discriminated against and retaliated against is wrong. And when you look at the right work and you put those things in perspective of actions, I think that's a piece. I'm a real person. Been a lifelong educator, still believe a teacher at heart, and you move into different roles and you understand the growth that it takes, the leadership that it takes to do the right thing, and to continue to do the right thing. And I think that's just a piece that I and hope others relate to, and you see that, and that's, to me, just makes sense.
Very good. Thank you for your time.
Absolutely.